The Demon Slayers are the closest to Muzan ever, with the new season airing and the Hashira training underway. However, this makes us wonder, how would the next generation of Hashiras look? Who would it include? And how would they even get there? We'll discuss that today. However, the last Hashira is going to blow your socks off. Let's go. Tanjiro. Now, we know the list is going to start off with Tanjiro rising to the rank of the Hashira at the earliest because upper demons practically play musical chairs around him. And he has encountered them one after the other, starting from Kyogai all the way to Muzan himself. In an alternate timeline, Tanjiro would grow strong enough to hold his own against an upper demon in battle with his Demon Slayer mark and practically belittle their strength with his mere presence. He would rise to the rank of Hashira by single-handedly killing an upper moon for the first time in the history of the Demon Slayer Corps and become the strongest pillar of the Taishio era. He would play the role of the powerful yet soft-hearted Hashira, who, let's be honest, was the role of Rengoku in the previous era. So, in a way, this is a great way to pay homage to Rengoku's memory by getting his ideas implemented through the hands of the one he saved and, in a sense, nurtured. Tanjiro would be given the area around his home, aka Mount Kumatori, as his main base of operations, just like all the other Hashiras are given, and he'd practically null down the demon activity to a standstill in his territory. This would practically make him the best of his generation in more sense than one, pinning him down to be the favorite child of Kaguya and making a certain someone very jealous. Zenitsu. And yeah, you guessed it right, that jealous person is none other than Zenitsu. Although that jealousy doesn't run very deep because of his respect for Tanjiro and his personality. Zenitsu would rise to the rank of the Hashira by breaking the record of killing 50 demons in the shortest time ever in the history of the corpse by mastering all 6 forms of thunder breathing and creating several folds like he did in the original story. However, this version of Zenitsu is not cheery and happy at all, as he's made one goal in his life the primary focus of his duties, which is to find and kill the Upper Moon 6 Kagaku who is responsible for his master Kagero committing seppuku and dying in disgrace. Zenitsu has been trying for years to get his Demon Slayer mark as well. However, its non-appearance has made him bitter, creating doubt in his mind and catering to his inner deficiencies, which he is still plagued by. Zenitsu has taken over the area that once Jigaro supervised as the Thunder Hashira, and also actively takes students who come along after being victims of demon attacks, all in hopes of creating the next generation of thunder-breathing slayers who can surpass him. But in all the chaos and sadness in Zenitsu's life, he is often visited by an old friend of his who has become the first rogue Hashira to ever exist in history, Inosuke. Well, that rogue person is none other than the old leader of the Kabamako squad, Inosuke Hashira. Inosuke had previously killed more than 50 demons while roaming the allies of Taishio-era Japan. However, much to everyone's surprise, the guy has not realized it yet and has ignored every summon by Kaguya for his felicitation. Thus, Inosuke is yet to be given any territory to protect by Kaguya. However, deep down, everyone knows that Inosuke won't be a caged animal for long and will put his feet on the ground as soon as the next adventure approaches. Furthermore, Inosuke has developed some new breathing techniques for himself and has also trained a few members of the corps, the Beast Breath, with whom he cooperated in some missions, but we all know how that would have gone. In any case, the reason behind Inosuke's wildness is not limited to his insanity, as he had some memories from his infancy resurface, prompting him to see Doma in his dreams. Thus, he is secretly investigating the Eternal Paradise cult and is trying to find its headquarters in order to confront Doma and find out the reason for his nightmares. Also, during one such quest, Inosuke encountered one other member of the Slayers who passed the final selection together and picked up a bad eating habit from him. And that bad eating habit involves demons, as Genya begrudgingly taught Inosuke that his strong digestion could actually help him digest demon flesh and temporarily boost his healing capabilities, which Inosuke now uses very often in his endeavors. Genya. And talking about Genya, he too has successfully achieved his goal of becoming the Demon Pillar, aka the demon-eating Hashira. With his mastery of the repetition technique, Genya has made it his mission to kill 50 demons to achieve the status of Hashira after Senemi's untimely demise. However, in his quest to hunt down demons, Genya always had the self-doubt of not being strong enough to take an upper moon hovering over his head. Thus, he sets his goal low instead of focusing on becoming strong by consuming lower-level demons first. However, fate has something else planned for him as he encountered a newly appointed Upper Moon 5 in one of his missions. The gruesome fight forced Genya to use every ounce of his strength, with the demon inflicting unimaginable damage on the Slayer. Thus, Genya was forced to eat the largest chunk of demon flesh he'd ever consumed in his entire life, which almost put him at the doors of heaven. However, he survived and came back stronger than ever. With a single slash of his wakazashi, he severed the head of the newly appointed Upper Moon 5 and finished off his head with a burst of his shotgun by using the first form of America breathing. Just kidding. Kanao. But even among those high achievers, there was one other Hashira who took a passive role when it came to the demon hunting and instead chose to cultivate the legacy that her predecessor left behind. Yes, we're talking about Kanao, the newly appointed Flower Hashira. Kanao was immediately appointed the Flower Hashira after she took down a swarm of demons with her newly developed poison, which was transmitted through the air and was invisible to the naked eye. This helped her immobilize a lot of demons together and brew their necks for a great slashing session. With this feat, Kanao became known as the Hashira who took out the greatest number of demons in a single fight, using nothing but her own strength. However, her outlook on life changed after one fateful meeting with Inosuke, when he confided his visions about Doma. After a while of contemplation, Kanao realized that it was the same demon who killed Kanye, which flipped a switch in her. After being approached as the Flower Pillar, she took a newfound interest in chemistry, reading all the research left behind by Shinobu, prompting her to continue the Wistera poison experiment, hoping to help Inosuke end the Upper Two. Nezuko. After the incident at the Swordsmith village, a new sense of endangerment surrounded Nezuko after she conquered the sun. Tanjiro had a very brief talk with Kaguya as to how they dealt with her situation, given that Muzan would do anything to get his hands on her. Thus, a new solution was reached wherein Nezuko would be put in Lady Tamiyo's care, wherein she would be the consort for tasks that require her to go out in sunlight, while also giving Lady Tamiyo the chance to run experiments on her blood that would later prove essential in devising a cure for the people who had been turned into demons. As usual, Yashiro was heavily opposed to this idea, but he gradually came around in a few days after Lady Tamiyo explained the gravity of the situation to him. However, he still harbors envious thoughts towards her. Due to her special condition, Kaguya has bestowed upon her a special Hashira title, where she wouldn't be protecting some territory from demons, but rather be the one who was being protected. With Yashiro's blood demon art, this process would become much smoother, and all the combined efforts of the Slayers and Lady Tamiyo would not be in vain, given that Muzan would never lay his hands on Nezuko. Murata. So far, all the characters have been much deserving of the post they've been given. However, this one certainly takes the cake when it comes to the benevolent miracle. Murata, who's also a water-breathing demon slayer, had survived every atrocity in the original time, whether it be Rui's web cocoons or the final battle against Muzan. Murata always came through to the end with his body intact. In this timeline, Murata would actually grow to his full potential by narrowly escaping the jaws of death with every demon encounter, finishing last in the race to become the Hashiras by completing the 50 kill count. However, one similarity that would arise between him and the previous holder of the rank, aka Giyu Tamioka, would be that Giyu always referred to himself as the fake Hashira, due to him not considering himself to carry on Sabato's legacy and walk in his shoes. But in Murata's case, he would probably be the weakest Hashira ever in the history of the Demon Slayer Corps. He would master all 10 forms of water breathing, however, he would actively look inward to get stronger, knowing full well that he was in front of the fake Hashira. He would actively seek out Tanjiro for his advice, who would then redirect him to Urokidaki, who would reteach the fundamentals to Murata, enabling him to develop the new 11th form of sun breathing, which would be the ultimate escape tactic, enabling Murata to move flexibly in various manners to avoid any incoming demon attacks, making his defense stats go through the roof. Thus, this would complete the list for the future generation of the Hashiras in a timeline wherein Muzan didn't make a hasty move after the Demon Slayer Corps defeated Hans Tengu and Gyoko in the Swordsmith village. Oh, and if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. Sayonara!